And it's just basketball. At the end of the day, it's just basketball.
You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all times. So, you know, if I burn out, I burn out.
Pierce had it poked away, stolen by Jordan. Lojas down on the floor. It's here's to Humphries. 4 to shoot. Humphries 3.
You like the idea. Jordan coming up with the steal.
Oh, look at that. The 40-year-old dives to the hardwood.
To have a long career, that's the goal. To be in the league for 20 years. That's the goal.
You know, it's all about winning championships and winning.
Hello? You play to win the game. You don't play to just play it.
Kevin Durant let something slip on LeBron's podcast that crossed a line nobody thought he would touch. And instead of pushing back or keeping the conversation serious, LeBron just sat there laughing like it was harmless banter. They really believed they could downplay Michael Jordan's legacy and slide it in like a casual joke. But once the clip started circulating, that idea fell apart instantly. The reaction hit immediately. Former teammates called it out, fans jumped in from every direction, and the pushback didn't come from loud arguments or heated debates. It came from the numbers, the championships, the resume, and the history that separates Jordan from everybody else. Those reminders made Durant and LeBron look careless for even entertaining the conversation the way they did. And all of it unfolded on Mind the Game, the podcast LeBron hosts with JJ Redick, featuring Durant and Steve Nash as guests. The show was advertised as raw basketball insight from players who live the sport. Instead, it drifted into a laid-back gossip circle where two of the biggest stars of this era tossed around quiet digs at the most respected figure the game has ever produced. They did it with smug smiles, thinking nobody would catch on, but everyone did.
Yeah, I'm 10, 12 years in, I got 4 MVPs and 4 championships, but do I still want to do this? You know what I'm saying?
You know how hard it is.
Some people say, I want to go play baseball.
Right?
Yeah. And then I want to come back. Or some people say, I'm going to go 22 straight.
Coward.
We come to practice, he's on one leg. Like, he was hurt the second year, he was on one leg the whole year and played 82 games. Like, and so he practiced every day and he played every game on one leg. And so he's like, man, MJ, why don't you just sit up? How can I be the leader of the team and sit out and y'all going through all the credit? I got to be there.
I twisted my ankle. And I had a teammate, David Greenwood. He says, you know, you twist your ankle, young fella, come over and sit with me. You know, this is, you need to. I said, no, man. I'm trying to make a name for myself. There's no way I can sit. You know, I need to get out there and show what I'm capable of. I want to play. I want to win. I want to make an impact.
Durant started speaking about commitment, how veteran players eventually hit that stage where they question whether they still have the drive to keep going after so many seasons. He explained that guys reach a point where they look in the mirror and ask themselves if they truly want to continue pushing. Then, he dropped the line that flipped the entire conversation. Durant said some players reach a moment where they think about leaving to try something else, like going off to play baseball and then coming back, while others decide they're going to grind through 20-plus straight years. The room froze for a moment. Then LeBron burst out laughing. Not a soft laugh, a real deep laugh. He knew the message behind it. Everyone watching caught it instantly. Durant wasn't just talking about commitment. He was putting Michael Jordan and LeBron James side by side, framing Jordan's baseball break as quitting while highlighting LeBron's uninterrupted run as the superior achievement. Steve Nash nodded along, LeBron kept laughing. And right there, it stopped being a harmless discussion. It turned into a quiet attempt to reshape the story of greatness in the NBA. They were hinting that longevity outweighs total domination, that staying around matters more than owning an era. But here's the thing.
All right, Laker Nerd asks, why is the triangle offense less utilized in today's game?
To try to run the triangle offense right now, it'd be very challenging, just because how the game is played and also how defense is covering.
10 to shoot. Jake going right to the rack. No defensive communication.
Why is ring culture so much more prevalent in the NBA than in other sports?
Yeah, it's funny, yeah, I don't know. I don't know why it's discussed so much in our sport and why it's the A-all, B-all of everything.
What you just said is one of the most insanely idiotic things I have ever heard.
Garth Gilmore told me one time, he played for Chicago, he said, if you expect to play a long time in this league, you better quit mopping up the floor. And I thought, well, he's crazy because that's what basketball is all about.
Bird takes it away from Wilkins, goes to the floor and gets it. Gets it up ahead.
Skip the one part of the story that changes everything, the part that makes their entire comparison fall apart instantly. Michael Jordan didn't step away in 1993 because he was bored, or because the league got too easy, or because he needed a new challenge. He walked away because his father was murdered. James Jordan was killed that summer during a robbery, shot and left on the side of the road. The man who pushed Michael toward greatness, the man who believed in him before anyone else, was suddenly gone forever. So at the absolute height of his powers, fresh off 3 straight championships, Jordan left basketball. Not out of boredom, not out of weakness. He left because he was grieving, because he wanted to honor his father's memory by chasing the dream they talked about together, playing professional baseball. So when Durant casually tossed out that little line about some people going to play baseball with that smirk on his face, he wasn't being insightful, he was being disrespectful. He reduced one of the darkest moments of Jordan's life into a cheap joke, and LeBron laughing along only made it worse. Neither one of them mentioned the context. Neither one said James Jordan's name. They just made their comment and kept moving like it didn't matter. Let's look at when Jordan retired. Was it after getting bounced early? Was it after a collapse in the finals? Was it after his team crumbled? None of that. Jordan retired after winning his 3rd straight championship. He three-peated. He reached the top of the sport and stayed there. He accomplished something Magic Johnson never did, something Larry Bird never did, something Isaiah Thomas never did. 3 titles in a row. And he did it while carrying a weight no athlete should ever have to bear. Basketball historians agree that Jordan's run from 1991 to 1993 was the greatest stretch of basketball ever played. The best player performing at his absolute peak. Calling that quitting isn't just wrong. It's flat out disrespectful.
But you have to really play hard. Does that hurt you physically?
No, because when I play hard all the time. You know, there's no turn it on here, turn it off here. It's just 110% at all the time.
It might not be in the team's best interest, in your best interest, to play all 82. Is that something you thought about at all since you made the goal?
That's a goal, but yeah, we'll see.
The next day,
I'm available to go and be in the pro. If OBJ shows up, he might score 100.
You play basketball 2.5 hours a day, 3 hours a day, right? That's your job. That's what you get paid to do as an NBA player. What are you doing the other 21 hours? I mean, to me, that's when you should be preparing for your next day of work.
Now this is where the irony becomes impossible to ignore. Look at who's sitting there making these comments. Kevin Durant, a player whose career is defined by running from tough situations. Back in 2016, after losing to the Warriors in the Western Conference Finals, Durant made a decision that still overshadows everything he's done since. He joined them. He signed with the very team that knocked him out, a 73-win squad with Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green already locked in. That move is still considered one of the weakest choices a superstar has ever made. Fans roasted him. Players questioned him. His reputation never recovered. And he did it for the easiest rings imaginable. Then the pattern continued. After leaving Golden State, Durant bailed on Brooklyn. He demanded a trade once the pressure hit and the expectations weren't being met. He couldn't lead a team unless it was stacked. And after that, he went to Phoenix and didn't even last 3 full seasons before asking out again. This is the man calling Michael Jordan a quitter. The same guy who bounces the moment things aren't perfect. Always searching for the smoothest route to another shot at a title. And then there's LeBron. When Cleveland got tough the first time, he left for Miami to join Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh because he couldn't close the deal on his own. When Miami started sliding in 2014, he ran back to Cleveland. When Cleveland became uncomfortable again, he bolted for Los Angeles. Every time adversity showed up, LeBron found a new destination. So for these two to sit on a podcast and joke about Jordan stepping away after a three-peat and the murder of his father, that's not just bold, that's unbelievable. And the disrespect didn't stop there. Durant doubled down, claiming the real goal for an NBA player should be playing 20 seasons. Not championships, not MVPs, not dominating every year you lace up. Just longevity, just staying on the court as long as possible. And LeBron nodded like it was deep wisdom, like extended mileage means more than total dominance. This is where Michael Jordan's entire philosophy erases their argument. Jordan never cared about stretching his career forever. He cared about being the best version of himself every season he played. His mission was simple: maximize his ability, elevate his team, win titles, win MVPs, dominate both ends of the floor, and leave nothing behind. If that meant the flame burned shorter, he accepted it. Jordan said it clearly: if he burned out, and then he'd go play golf.
You know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy way up on top who probably worked his ass off to get a ticket. or to get money to buy the ticket.
You really cared about the guy who sat in the top deck at the Palace in Auburn Hills to watch you when you came to Detroit?
Yeah, because I know he's probably yelling at me, and I want to shut him up. So if the guys are coming to watch me play, I don't want to miss that opportunity. Now, physically, if I can't do it, then I can't do it. But physically, if I can do it, and I just don't feel like doing it, that's a whole different lens.
What do you think of when you hear the term load management thrown around?
It shouldn't be needed, first and foremost. You know, I never wanted to miss a game because it was an opportunity to prove. It was something that I felt like, you know, the fans are there to watch me play. I want to impress that guy.
He never cared about stretching his career to 20 seasons. He cared about being the best player on the floor, about winning at the highest level, about building a legacy through dominance, not through durability. That was Jordan's entire mindset. Now compare that to what Durant just said. For him, the goal is simply playing 20 years. Not chasing greatness, not building a legacy, just hanging around long enough to say he lasted. That's not ambition, that's survival. That's paycheck collecting. That's clock punching. Jordan played 15 total seasons, but really only 13 full ones when you factor in the retirements. In that short time, he delivered 6 championships, 6 finals MVPs, 5 regular season MVPs, 10 scoring titles, and 9 all-defensive selections. That isn't impressive, that's nearly flawless. That, as a resume, nobody in modern basketball can even stand next to. Now look at Durant and LeBron together. Between them, they've logged 39 seasons, almost 3 times the length of Jordan's prime. Nearly 40 years of NBA basketball combined. And what's the total outcome? 6 championships. 5 regular season MVPs, 6 finals MVPs, 5 scoring titles, and only 5 all-defensive selections. In almost 4 decades of combined work, they accomplished less than Jordan did in basically 10 peak seasons. Twice the time, half the results. That's the real difference between greatness and longevity. Jordan didn't just talk about maximizing every season, he lived it. When he entered the league in 1984, he played all 82 games. All of them. That year, 40 players across the NBA played a full season. It was normal, it was expected. Jordan averaged 38.3 minutes a night, 4th most in the league, and his total minutes ranked 3rd behind only Buck Williams and Larry Bird. From day one, Jordan was an Iron Man. And this was during an era where everything was harder, the game was more physical. Travel meant commercial flights. Teams had one trainer and one strength coach. Practices were longer and rougher, back-to-backs were constant. 3 games in 4 nights weren't rare, they were standard. But players still showed up. Look at the 1999 to 2000 season. 58 players played all 82 games, 58, more than half the league took the court every single night, giving fans exactly what they paid to see. Compare that to today. In 2022, the fewest players in league history played a full season. Then 2023 broke that record. Then 2024 broke it again. Then 2025 continued the freefall. The worst availability in NBA history is happening right now in the 2020s, during the era when players have every advantage imaginable. Players today have every tool imaginable to stay healthy. Private jets, full medical teams, sports science departments, personalized nutrition, world-class facilities, ice baths, cryotherapy, massage therapists, sleep coaches, and recovery tech that didn't even exist 20 years ago. They have access to more advantages than any generation before them. And yet they're playing fewer games than ever. Why? Because the mindset shifted. The standard shifted. When LeBron started load managing and sitting out because he was tired or pacing himself, it sent a message to the entire NBA. If the top player can skip games without consequence, why shouldn't everyone else? That mentality spread fast. Role players started resting. Bench players started resting. The entire league adopted the idea that the regular season barely matters, that only playoff games count, and even then we've seen players sit out postseason games. Suddenly, it became acceptable to disappoint fans who spent hundreds of dollars on tickets just because you didn't feel like suiting up that night. Jordan broke down this whole issue without ever naming LeBron or Durant directly. He talked about the problem with load management, about players resting when they aren't injured, about choosing comfort over competition. Jordan said he never wanted to miss a game because each one was another chance to prove himself, another chance to entertain the people in the arena. He said he wanted to impress the fan in the very last row who probably worked all year just to afford that ticket. That's the difference. Jordan respected the game, he respected the fans. He understood the privilege of playing in the NBA. LeBron, in over 20 seasons, has played a full 82-game schedule only once. One time. Meanwhile, Guys like Larry Bird, Kobe Bryant, Tim Duncan, and even Allen Iverson, who took more hits than just about anyone, did it multiple times. Yet the face of the league, the player who wants to be compared to Jordan, managed it once. Durant hasn't done much better. He only completed 3 full seasons in his entire career. 3. These are the players who preach longevity like it's some badge of honor, like showing up occasionally is more impressive than dominating consistently. There's a story that captures Jordan's philosophy perfectly. Former Bull artist Gilmore once told rookie Michael Jordan that if he wanted a long NBA career, he needed to stop throwing himself on the floor for loose balls, stop playing so hard, and stop risking his body every game. Jordan's reaction was simple. That mindset was crazy. That wasn't basketball. Competing with everything you had was the whole point. Jordan didn't care about stretching his career artificially. He cared about doing everything at full speed, giving maximum effort, and competing at the highest level every night. Jordan and Larry Bird both played fewer than 15 full seasons because they emptied the tank. They dove for loose balls. They played rugged defense. They pushed themselves without pacing or load management. They weren't thinking about year 20. They were thinking about the game in front of them and the championship they were chasing. They understood something Durant and LeBron keep forgetting. Greatness is measured by intensity, not longevity, by the quality of your peak, not the quantity of your seasons. And their legacies prove it. Nobody questions Larry Bird's greatness just because he only played 13 seasons. Nobody questions Michael Jordan's greatness because he retired multiple times. The only players who get questioned are the ones who played longer, piled up seasons, and still achieve less. That's the difference between longevity and dominance. And when that Mind the Game episode dropped, fans noticed immediately. The backlash was instant. Viewers weren't having it. Former players weren't having it. And Jordan's old teammates definitely weren't having it. Stacey King, who won 3 titles with Jordan in Chicago, went off. He mockingly renamed the podcast Crimea River and tore into LeBron and Durant for constantly trying to push narratives about their own greatness. King said great players don't need to advertise how great they are. You let the fans decide that. You let the debates happen on sports shows and talk radio. Players aren't supposed to sell it themselves. He said everyone already knows LeBron and Durant are great. So the moment they start listing reasons and pointing at their longevity, it comes off insecure. That's why he called it the Crimea River Podcast, a place where they complain more than they compete. And King didn't stop there. He blasted Durant's longevity claim, calling out the hypocrisy. Durant talked about durability and lasting 20 years. But King reminded everyone that Durant has only played all 82 games 3 times in his entire career. And LeBron? He's only done it once. King also pointed at Durant's postseason struggles since leaving Golden State, the Brooklyn failure, the Phoenix failure, the constant need for stacked rosters, and nothing to show for it without Steph Curry carrying part of the load. Social media lit up immediately. One fan posted, "Some people have their father murdered and go play baseball in grief. Some people join a 73-win team, make burner accounts, jump to 3 different franchises, never win again, and then claim the real goal is just playing forever." Another fan wrote that Jordan walked away in the middle of a three-peat, then returned and dominated the league again. Something Durant and LeBron can even come close to matching. Durant jumped onto Twitter and doubled down instead of backing off. He wrote congrats to those people and said he'd mention Min Jae retiring twice every day if he felt like it. Then he tried to defend himself by saying today's game is faster, there's more movement, more stress on ligaments, and that modern players have it harder. But fans weren't buying any of that. Especially not fans who grew up watching Jordan in an era with hand-checking, with real physical defense, with teams allowed to beat you up every possession. They saw a different level of intensity, a different level of toughness, and a different standard of greatness, one that LeBron and Durant keep trying to rewrite. And the more they try, the worse it looks. The same fans calling out Durant and LeBron are the ones who watched Jordan play through injuries that would keep today. S-stars out for weeks. That's what Durant and LeBron still don't understand. When you try tearing down legends to elevate yourself, it doesn't make you look stronger, it exposes every insecurity you trying to hide. It tells the world you know you're not on that level, so you try dragging that level closer to you. Jordan never played that game. Kobe never played that game. They respected the greats who came before them. They honored the history of basketball. Their legacies were built on winning, on competing, on showing up, not gossiping on a podcast about who quit and who didn't. And here's the bigger point Durant and LeBron can seem to grasp. Jordan's legacy doesn't need defending. It defends itself. NBC recently brought Jordan back into the NBA landscape, not as a player, but as an ambassador, a leader, someone who can help fix the cultural issues fans keep complaining about. Why Jordan? Why not LeBron? Because even 20 years removed from his last game, Jordan still carries more influence than LeBron, more presence than Adam Silver, and more weight than anyone currently in uniform. When Michael Jordan speaks, the league listens. When he talks about accountability, competitiveness, respecting fans, and treating each game like it matters, that message lands. It shifts the culture. That's Jordan's real response to all the nonsense Durant and LeBron were pushing. Not a podcast rant, not a Twitter reply. His response is his relevance. His name, his impact, his influence. Because when the NBA needs guidance, they don't call LeBron James. They call Michael Jordan. They go to the man who set the standard in the first place. The man who showed everyone what excellence is supposed to look like. Durant and LeBron can laugh on their show all they want. They can downplay rings, dismiss eras, and pretend dominance doesn't matter. But at the end of the day, they're still chasing the same man they were mocking. Every debate returns to Jordan. Every all-time list starts with Jordan. Every conversation about greatness circles back to Jordan, and no amount of longevity will ever change that. No amount of season padding, no amount of carefully crafted narratives, no amount of podcast episodes will rewrite what the world already knows. Jordan didn't chase long careers, he chased greatness. And greatness doesn't need 2 decades to prove itself. Sometimes it takes a moment, sometimes it takes a single season. Sometimes it takes one defining stretch to show the world what the best really looks like. Jordan had 13 of those seasons. 13 years of domination without compromise. 6 championships, a perfect finals record. 10 scoring titles. 9 all-defensive selections. 5 MVPs. The greatest peak the sport has ever seen. Durant and LeBron, with nearly 40 seasons combined, still haven't touched that resume, and they never will. So yes, Michael Jordan responded to Durant and LeBron. He just didn't need to say their names. His legacy, his mindset, his approach to competition, that's the answer. And it's louder than anything said on a microphone. It's louder than any stat they can manipulate. It's louder than any joke they can make about baseball or retirements. Because when people think of basketball greatness, they think of Michael Jordan. Not load management. Not 20-year careers. Not podcast chatter. Real greatness, undeniable greatness, unstoppable greatness. If you think today's NBA has drifted too far from what made the game great, hit that like button. If you believe players should respect the sport and the legends who built it, drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more breakdowns that expose what's really going on in the league, make sure you subscribe. This conversation is nowhere near finished.